Hey, it's Second. In this video, I'll cover my new Bruiser Ekko build, which has been working extremely well. It's pretty much exactly what I was hoping it was going to be this season because they finally removed the Mythic system and they added Storm Surge because before you pretty much had to rush a Mythic item, and for Echoes, we were trying to find something that was as close to our old build as possible, which is Runic Echoes into Iceborne Spirit Visage, Landries, and then Dark Seals or situational item. And we finally have that again. Ideally, we'd actually probably go Lichbane into Iceborne, but since they have the same unique passive, we can't do that. And so, how the build works, or it looks like, is our first back is still the same. So we want to rush Aether Wisp, which is what you would do on the old Runic Echoes, and we get Dark Seal first, and then yeah, you'll look to get Aether Wisp, then Boots, then Alternator, then finish Storm Surge, and then upgrade to Pen Boots. And then you get the core item of Iceborne second every time. There is a situational argument for Merc Treads sometimes if they're like full AP. Obviously, you'd get that instead of Pen Boots. But pretty much you're always going these three. This are the core items, and it's so effective. And before you go Merc Treads or Tabbies on the old Bruiser Echo build, but Pen Boots have just gotten so strong. You get 18 pen, and now they removed the Amaran runes too. So you're basically doing full true damage for the majority of the game, and that's why you kind of want to switch into Bruiser. If you can, it's like a fine line of balancing tank and damage, because we're already exceeding the amount of damage we need to carry the game. And so if you can start building defensive, Bruiser is always the strongest class in League. That's just how it's always been that way and always will be that way. So you can build that way, it will always be the strongest, especially with Echo's kit, who's designed to be a bruiser. He's always performed the best as a bruiser. Riot's just like really pushed AP Echo. They really want that to be a thing, so they've given him the really high AP ratios. So high, like AP Echo works pretty well, but they force it super hard. His kit's actually way better aligned for Bruiser, and Bruiser is a stronger class in general. So that's why we always love forcing this build, and that's why it always works so well, and that's why we've hit rank 1 with it twice. And I'm hoping to do it now a third time now that it's back. But let's get back to the build. The rest of it is this is the part I didn't know, or this is the item that I didn't know how to replace at first. Was before we used to go Spirit Visage, but they nerfed all of his healing and within his kit really to try to really combat that Bruiser Echo build. But now we have Abyssal Mass, which is so cheap and so cost efficient and just strong. And again, we get more pen with this item now. And that's how we finally get the MR in the build, because normally we're going these three, so we have no MR, you don't have MR and runes. You really normally have to get this third unless they're like heavy AD and they're like APs behind, but normally you're going Abyssal Mass, and you get this out of the way so quickly because it's 2400. And then you can work into Landries, which is finally back in the game. I love this item, it's so good. And that's pretty much the full build. If you can finish Soul Stealer, no, I wouldn't recommend it before these two items, those are the core. Sometimes you can fit it in, yeah, somewhere in here if you really want to. Otherwise, you can just keep building standard and just hold on to the 10 stacks on Dark Seal, which you're going to get a lot of the time. And then some situation items, like if they're full AD, you don't go the Abyssal Mass. I like to go Landry's third. And then Thornmail's really good in Randwoods if they're full AD. If they're really heavy AP, then you can pick up Rukern. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole build. It's really working the way we wanted it to. I'm really liking it so far. We just got to get more games in, and we'll see what elo we can get to with it. But it finally feels like our old Bruiser Echo build, which is what we're looking for. The key things that we like had to adjust were, yeah, throwing in the pen boots instead of the tankier boots. So the start of the game is basically the same as if you're going AP Echo, which is exactly what you want. You always want to start with an AP Echo on Bruiser Echo builds. You really don't want to do full tank. And that's another thing we pretty much couldn't do because of the old Mythic system until now. But right now, like the only difference is someone might be running for like the first like 10 minutes of the game or 15, which is when you win the game as a jungler, is they are either running Lichbane first or Rocket Belt or Storm Surge. So, and like so there's almost no difference in the build, but you get way better scaling out of this build. Like this build is so much better late game. Everyone thinks AP Echo scales better. It's not true. This build is way better for a jungler mid late game. Yeah, I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think of the build, and thanks so much for watching.